This is the story of three people who survived the unimaginable. The first, a man who got trapped alone in a deep canyon and made it out alive. The second, a sailor who escaped a sinking ship. And the third, a woman who miraculously survived a falling plane crash. 3 lives, 3 trials, one thing in common: incredible human resilience.
Aaron Lee Ralston was an unknown amateur climber who, driven by a passion for extreme sports, left his job as an engineer to pursue his ultimate goal: to summit all of Colorado's peaks over 14,000 feet during a single winter season. His life story might have remained unknown, but fate had other plans. In 2003, Ralston experienced a horrifying incident that later became the basis for the acclaimed film 127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle. On April 26, 2003, Aaron Ralston embarked on a solo descent through Blue John Canyon in Utah without informing any of his friends or family about the trip. During the descent, a massive rock weighing 350 kilograms suddenly broke loose and fell, pinning his right arm to the canyon wall. Realizing the hopelessness of his situation, the adventurer made several futile attempts to free his hand. But the weight of the boulder was far too great. He had a small supply of food and water, which he rationed over several days while enduring excruciating pain from the pressure of the rock. After 4 days, his supplies ran out, and Ralston began to suffer from intense hallucinations caused by pain and dehydration. According to the climber, it was one of these hallucinations that triggered him to act. After recording a farewell video message and engraving his initials along with a presumed date of death on the rock, Aaron had a vision of himself playing with his future child, his right arm replaced by a prosthetic. Upon awakening, Ralston made the desperate decision to save his life.
After freeing himself, Ralston descended the sheer cliff and walked another 9.5 kilometers until he encountered a group of travelers from the Netherlands who were able to call a helicopter that transported the injured man to the hospital. The doctors who examined Aaron were shocked. The man had lost several kilograms of weight and 25% of his total blood volume. These figures were nearly critical, yet Ralston still managed to survive. His amputated limb was later found and returned to Aaron, who decided to cremate it and keep it as a memento of that terrifying time. If you're going on an extreme adventure, let your loved ones know your plans. If I had done that, everything might have turned out differently. Fortunately, Aaron's life turned out well. He was fitted with a prosthetic arm instead of losing it, and in 2010, he did have a child, just as he had envisioned in the canyon. Today, Ralston continues to conquer mountain peaks, but he never goes down alone. On May 23, 2013, Harrison Okene, a cook from Nigeria working aboard a ship, realized that the vessel he was on was sinking. Unfortunately, at that moment, he was in the shower and didn't have time to get to the deck. By the time he managed to escape, most of the ship was already submerged underwater. Okene had little chance of survival, but he still tried to find shelter, and he succeeded. In one of the half-flooded corridors, the cook found what seemed to be an air pocket where water didn't reach. Armed with an inflatable raft, which he used to rest his arms on in case he lost consciousness, Harrison spent 72 hours trapped in his makeshift refuge. By the second day, the water temperature dropped to freezing, and Okene, dressed only in his swimming trunks and submerged up to his waist in icy water, thought he was going to die. However, in his own words, his faith and his desire to reunite with his family kept him going. Additionally, the sunken ship attracted some unwelcome guests. Predatory fish, drawn by the scent of dead crew members, regularly swam into the ship's compartments. But Okene managed to fend them off. Notably, news of the shipwreck spread almost immediately, but due to the storm and rescuers' belief that no passengers had survived, the search didn't begin until 3 days after the disaster. The dramatic moment when rescuers discovered Harrison Okene alive aboard the sunken vessel was captured on video. Later, the survivor was taken to the hospital, but his condition wasn't critical and he was soon able to return home. By the end of the 10th day, Julianne discovered a small boat as well as a shelter located on a rise. With great difficulty, she climbed the hill and found a canister of gasoline, which she used to treat her festering wounds. After that, she lost consciousness. The girl woke up to the sound of a human voice. It turned out that several residents from a nearby village had arrived at the small shelter and took Julianne to their settlement where she was given aid. A day later, she was transported to a larger town where doctors provided professional medical care. Eventually, she was transferred to the city of Pucallpa in eastern Peru where her father was waiting for her. Thanks to Julianne's account, rescuers were able to locate the crash site. They discovered that 13 people had still been alive at the time of the crash, but only Julianne managed to reach help and save her life. Later, this incredible story became the basis for a number of films, and in 2011, Julianne Coep wrote an autobiography titled When I Fell from the Sky. These stories are not just tales of survival. They are a reminder to each of us. As long as we breathe, as long as our hearts are beating, we are capable of fighting, hoping, and moving forward. Even in the darkest night, there is light to be found. The most important thing is not to give up.